I have decided something. What have you decided? I have decided
that
when we're born, we have a mommy and daddy, right? And then when we grow up and get married, we have children of our own. And then our children grow up and get married and have children. And so on and so on. So it's very important and very fun also to...
Hey guys, this is Miranda, and you're listening to Interesting Sex, a podcast about who, how, where, and why we fuck. Thank you so much for subscribing and rating us. If you haven't done that, please do so and tell your friends. I love your support. You can find me on Instagram at Interesting Sex Podcast, Twitter at Podcast Sex, or you can find me at InterestingSexPodcast.com where you can send me messages or whatever the hell else you want to say to me. Thanks so much. I love you guys. I have to give you a warning. Today's episode is pretty graphic. I had the pleasure of talking to someone about blood play. And for those of you that get a little bit queasy, I just want to let you know that especially the second half of the episode does get a little bit intense. So I want you to be aware and make that choice for yourself. If you want to look him up on Twitter, his name is Levi. He goes by Hell4Slootz. On Twitter, he is HELL4SL00TZ, or you can find him for less graphic on Instagram, Hell4Slootz, HELL4SLOOTZ. And with no further ado, I just want to get this started so you can hear all the wildness I got to experience and have to offer you. Let's open our ears, our hearts, and our holes and give a nice warm welcome to Hell4Slootz.
Hey, Miranda, how are you?
I'm good. How's it going today?
It's good. What's going on?
I am just excited to talk to you because you seem really sexy and intense.
I am both of those things, maybe. Maybe more of the second part than the first.
No, I disagree totally. So if people want to see how sexy you are and the stuff that you do during the show, why don't you tell people your Instagram or a place that they can find you?
I'm actually moving more away from Instagram because of, their user guidelines.
Okay.
I post less there now. Twitter would be the place to find me and see the most of me. Twitter.com/HELL4SL00TZ. Hell4Slootz.
Okay. I never got on the Twitter train.
You should, because you get to see all of the cool stuff, dicks and butts and vaginas and all the cool stuff you don't get on Instagram.
So when I'm looking at Instagram, I'm getting like the PG to PG-13 stuff.
Yeah. And plus, I like Twitter because it's more, you see my real personality. A lot of people curate their internet persona, and me, I'll literally be like, hey, I'm fucking hungry right now and work sucks and I want to go do this thing. So people have an insight into my day-to-day life, is where Instagram's more like those photos are created.
Right.
They're less candid.
Okay, well, I'll follow you on Twitter and you'll be let's just get going. Why don't you tell me who you are, how you identify as a human, as a person, and then how you are sexually.
I am Levi, a.k.a. Hell4Slootz. I am a cisgendered male. And I am pansexual. Okay.
Pansexual means that you're just into anything.
I'm into anything. I base my attraction more so on, obviously I can find people attractive and be like, wow, that person's hot. But I really am personality attracted. I really like getting to know anyone and everyone, and with that comes attraction to almost anyone and everyone. So,
but when you're attracted to everyone, do you also try to have sex with everyone that you're attraced to, or are you monogamous?
I am. So I'm in a 24/7 DDLG dynamic with my significant other, who's my fiance, baby Sid, and we both work in the adult industry, and we are non-monogamous. We fall somewhere in between poly and open. We have people that we continuously see together. We see people individually. we aren't always dating. It's more or less, like friendships, a lot of friendships with benefits.
Okay.
So yeah, there's like a full spectrum of we don't necessarily know where our dynamic falls from day to day. We're very malleable in that sense.
Right, but she is your person.
She is my primary partner, yes.
Okay. Since I obviously looked at Instagram and not Twitter, I want to go over like just your profile and what it says.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just going to read it really quick because it says, daddy, which you just said is DDLG, daddy, dumb little girl. Sadist, which I think means that you like to be mean. Puggalist, which I'm guessing means you love pugs. Hooligan, which means you're a troublemaker. XXX, you just said you're in porn, or you're an adult entertainer, and owner of Baby Sid, and that you have the devil inside of you, basically.
Okay, so I wish it was Puggalist because that's a sweet way. I mean, I would love to be all about pugs all the time. But no, it's pugilist.
Okay.
I like combat sports. I train Muay Thai, a little bit of boxing, a little bit of jiu-jitsu. So
okay, so that has nothing to do with anything sexual because it ends in the ist.
No, yeah.
Like all the other things do.
Yeah, I mean, it does. My combat sports training has definitely given me some extracurricular knowledge for impact scenes or a lot of breath play scenes. So
Okay.
I really like to utilize different chokes for breath play scenes. So
Okay. So what you're saying is you hate pugs.
I love pugs.
I'm just kidding.
I love all dogs. All dogs go to my house and hang out with Sydney.
Okay. I want to talk about you being an owner. Like you said, you live in a 24/7 DS relationship, but it says that you're an owner of Baby Sid.
Yes, correct.
So what is that like to own somebody?
So we did a traditional collaring process, which, she was under consideration. We played, she did a lot of things to earn that collar. And then she has her full-time collar now. And that basically means that through a contract that we devised and agreed upon, she has certain things that she is expected to do and carry out from whether it be day to day to month. I mean, I also have responsibilities in that. Right now, we are more because of our work schedules. We are less 24/7 DS and more 24/7 DDLG. So there's a lot more caretaking that goes on in our relationship on my part right now.
Okay.
So
what is your work schedules, or what do you guys do for work?
We work opposite schedules. Sid is a manager in her vanilla job. She works graveyard and manages a production team. And then I'm a broker and I work the exact opposite schedule of her 3 days a week. So we get 3 or 4 days off of each other and then 3 or 4 days on to each other.
Okay.
So.
And she's like tired because she works all night and then she needs extra care. Like as a little
Repeat
girl.
That?
Like, because you said that it's less DS right now and more daddy down little girl. And you said that you're more caregiving right now. So I'm asking if it's because her job, she's like working at night all the time and she's like exhausted that she just needs a softer like life.
Yeah, it's very strenuous for her. For me to try and impose like, hey, you need to have X amount of things done today. It's just an unrealistic expectation for us.
Yeah.
And so we save a lot of our DS for our play and the weekends. And then most of the week, because she is so worn down, I'm daddy, the caretaker. Last night I picked up the house and, made sure that she was fed and got her into bed at a decent time, those sorts of things. So, which is, both sides of that are so fulfilling for both of us. So it's nice to be able to kind of flip.
Right. So when you're a daddy, when you're a daddy, you're like a nice, sweet daddy.
Yeah, I'm always daddy. But yeah, when it's when primarily I sense that Sydney needs some slack, I am very sweet and loving, nurturing dad and not stern disciplinarian dad.
Okay. How did you guys meet?
I had crushed on Sydney forever, and one day got the courage up to be like, hey, would you want to hang out sometime? And at the time she was being a very good monogamous partner and was like, hey, I have a boyfriend. I really think you're cool, but can't go any further than this in the conversation. So we did not talk again for like 6 months. And then I was randomly working at a bar. I bounced as a second job for a little while. And she came into the bar and was like, oh, hey, you're that guy. How are you? And I was like, oh, good. So we chatted a little bit, and she was meeting a friend of mine there. And I was like, oh, you're meeting my friend there. Are you still with your ex-boyfriend? And she said, no, that we've split.
Was she going on a date with your friend, or was it like a girlfriend?
Yeah, she was meeting up for like a date.
Yeah. And you're like, no, me.
Well, he was in a poly relationship. His primary partner was one of my partners at the time. And so when he showed up, I was like, so are we all going to leave here and go bang or what? And so we ended up going back to his house, and I essentially fell in love with Sydney in a male-female threesome.
Okay. So you fell in love during sex?
Yeah.
She must be pretty good.
I fell in love with Sydney from like the moment I saw her. So very rare, but it's true. I don't think we've spent a full day together outside of when she's traveling to shoot since then.
That's cool. What do you do in the adult industry if you're like a broker?
In my vanilla job?
Yeah, how does that work?
I'm like a work professional by day, deviant by night and weekend. I had been into kink and BDSM in the kink community for a while. And a couple years ago, got a call from a friend that was like, hey, we want to do this live performance thing that crosses music and kink and adult entertainers. And we think that you would be really cool if you could just help us figure out how to set this up. And went down and did one, and it was okay. And then decided I wanted to do more performance stuff. So Sydney and I did live fetish performances for parties. For AVN 2 years ago, we did a pre-party for the AVN Awards. And then from there, people were like, you guys should create more content. So we created, our own little videos and clips, and started posting more sexually.
Y'all are like a hot couple.
Yeah, so we were doing the live performance thing, and it was really great. And we just kept making more and more friends and connections in the industry. And, Sydney had done cam work forever, and we just kind of decided, let's go forward and shoot with friends and do content trade. And we've been doing that for the last year, and it's been awesome. And
how did you get into the kink scene, and how did you find out that you liked being like a sadist?
I mean, that started for me probably when I was like 12 years old.
Whoa.
The types of things that I thought and fantasized about, I became very like sexually interested in things at a very young age.
What do you mean in things?
Just exploration, myself, like, oh, what's this? What happens when I do this?
Right.
Why is this like this? Which I don't think is anything out of the ordinary for a lot of people, but I think
especially for boys, y'all are gross.
I was pretty hypersexual, I think, for like most of my youth, but I was really repressed, as a teenager going into my early 20s. I had all these thoughts and feelings and didn't really know how to communicate them to anyone, so I just kept them inside of myself. I feel bad for the people that slept with me when I was probably like 18 or 19, because I feel like I was probably the most vanilla person they had ever met, and not very enjoyable. But
well, when they were 18 or 19, they were probably vanilla too.
Maybe.
There's nothing wrong with vanilla sex.
No, not at all. And I'll attest to that. You know, I love a good, hey, we're at home, let me roll over and kiss you, and we'll have some missionary sex before we go to bed type of. It's a great feeling. So yeah, I kind of found my way into it. I had a friend, and she was very open about the things that she was sexually interested in, and as we became better friends, she just really kind of clued me into talking more about things that interested me, or like what I wanted out of a sexual relationship. And I think that's the biggest piece. You know, I get a lot of messages now on Instagram of people that are like, hey, you know, how do I tell my partner that I'm into this thing? You tell them. The easiest way to direct answer is direct conversation. And so I think when you meet somebody and you think that person's going to be somebody that maybe is going to be like a long-term companion, laying that out on the table, having those conversations in the beginning is going to save you a lot of pent up emotions or feelings, you know, 6 months to a year down the road. And then it makes for a much harder conversation. So I was lucky enough to have a friend that really, you know, guided me down the right path and pointed me in the direction of some people that knew about the things that I was interested in. And then from there, it was like, you know, trips to San Francisco, to Folsom Street or Citadel, or when I was younger, you know, just playing with people that had experience. And as a dominant male, somebody that wanted to be a dominant male, learning how to do it properly.
Okay. So did you think you were like angry when you were young? Like, when did you start thinking of like pain and like hurting people?
It was born from like being more of a sadomasochist as a child. I was pretty big masochist when I was younger. I don't have that side of me anymore. It's not something that
what do you mean? Like, you liked, when you were a kid, you liked to get hurt?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like,
would you be like a cutter or something? Or like what does that look like when you were young?
I engaged in a little bit of self-harm when I was younger. Yeah.
Like middle school young?
Yeah. Middle school, beginning of high school. I was very infatuated with blood. One of my huge kinks, which, you know, it's contracted that we only really do it with each other, Sydney and I, blood play. Like, and there's photos of that, you know, on my Twitter. There's a couple of scenes that we did, live scenes with some heavy blood play.
Can you please get deeper into blood play? I think you're the first person I've talked to that actually does that. So,
I mean, and we've done it a couple ways. We have a really cool cupping kit, which I don't know if you've ever seen, like physical therapists, they use cupping to draw
I've gotten
out.
Cupped at an acupuncturist. It's the best.
And you can make small incisions and use those cups to draw blood out.
Whoa.
Again,
does she have scars all over her?
Sydney has some scars. She's got vampire glove scars on her butt that'll probably always be there.
What are vampire gloves?
Vampire gloves they're just spike covered gloves, basically.
Okay.
And so we use them for spanking, and you can kind of run them down the skin for a nice sensation, but our application of them, it's just heavy impact that creates a nice splatter.
Okay. So you put incisions in the person's back. In your case, it's Sydney's, but I'm just making it more broad for people. And then you put the cups on it, and it sucks blood out of her.
Yeah, you can.
Instead of like getting the bruises that you get when you're cupped, it actually just pulls the blood out too.
Correct.
What else? Blood play.
I've done blood draws where, you know, you go straight. You can intravenously draw blood out medically. You know, like you would go get blood drawn.
What do you do with all this blood?
Play in it. You know, I don't advise it with anyone that isn't tested for, you know, a various amount of their physical health. Sydney and I, like I said, it's solely for us. It's a thing that we only do with each other. Ingest it. You can, you know, cover each other in it and have sex in it. And
you drink it?
Yeah, I have ingested Sydney's blood.
Have you drank your own blood?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was like when I was younger, that was how I knew. I was like so obsessed with it. I loved the taste of blood.
Do you like the book series Twilight?
If you were to walk into my living room right now, unfortunately, that book series is on the bottom shelf of my bookshelf.
So you do. What do you mean, unfortunately?
It's unfortunate because those movies were so bad and the books were all right.
Okay. I didn't ever watch it, but that's like my only vampire reference, really. Besides Buffy, the Vampire Slayer.
See, and mine was Bram Stoker's Dracula. I think it was 1992 or 1994. The movie that they made with Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman.
Right.
And in the beginning, he holds the cup to the cross. And that was like, for me, I was like, oh my God, what is this? This looks awesome.
Did you like get a chub when you saw it?
I think first time I saw it, I was like 9 years old. So if I did, it was like, it probably didn't dawn on me that that's what was going on.
Right. Okay. So, does she enjoy the blood play as much as you do, or she just does it because she's a good little girl?
Things of that nature. I mean, she ultimately, in a power exchange relationship, the submissive always holds the power.
Right.
It might seem like I'm boss man, but realistically it begins and ends with her. She says when it stops, and she absolutely loves we love a lot of the same stuff. The things that we do together in kink, we both enjoy tremendously.
No wonder you collared her. Like, what are the chances of finding somebody that's into blood play as much as you seem to be?
It's not as rare as you would think.
Really?
Yeah. Even some people in the industry that are super into it and have asked us if we would be willing to, do scenes with them that involve blood. But
I will be asking you more about blood play really soon. But
okay.
I wanted to ask you, like, does your vanilla job, know how wild you are? Because, I know you have tattoos on your neck, so they have to know something's up.
Yeah, so I work with a whole group of really cool dudes, and
where are you?
I'm in Reno, Nevada.
Okay.
I work at a place that they know, and as long as I don't advertise where I work, they are very cool with what I do outside of work. And
they know the depths of what you do?
Yeah, so some of them follow me on Twitter and Instagram and ask me questions about certain things that they see or don't know about, or I am kind of like the resident sore thumb in my job. I pretty much look completely different than every other person in that environment. So.
Right. So the only time I've ever been in Reno is when I'm leaving Burning Man and you come out and we stay there for a night and get some food and stuff. I saw that you like Reno, but I've always thought it was not very great.
So it depends on what you're looking for. I mean, Reno is I live in the suburbs. I own a house out away from downtown, and you can commute anywhere in this town in 10 to 12 minutes on the freeway. We're 30 minutes away from Lake Tahoe. If you ski, there's skiing. If you hike, there's beautiful hiking. 3 hours from San Francisco, 6.5, 7 hours from Vegas. I can't really think of a better place. I've been a lot of places, and we have our own little quiet slice of life, and then we get to fly to Vegas and make porn every now and then, and it's pretty great.
Okay.
To be honest.
You make it sound a little bit better. Back to blood stuff. Does that mean you love it when she has her period?
I do like period sex. I like going down on her when she's on her period.
Okay.
I mean,
you just because for me, it's I sometimes if usually it's annoying when you have your period, but when you are having sex a lot, sometimes it's nice to have your period because then you get your body gets a break and then you get just more snuggles. But for
she gets all the snuggles she wants. If she had her way, I don't think she would ever stop having sex.
Okay.
She is much more sexual than I am. She's also, I'm 34, gonna be 34, and she's 24. So
you're in your decline, and she's a woman.
Yeah,
just
she's peaking
inclining.
right now, and I'm
No,
like,
she doesn't peak. I don't think you peak till your 30s for women.
just let me believe she's peaking right now, okay?
No, you're gonna have your hands full for the next
I know.
like
I've already got
15
my
years.
hands full. I don't even have enough friends to have sex with her as much as she wants to have sex right now.
It doesn't like bother you like sex with other people you know?
No, not at all. I love she tweeted something this morning about like how thankful she is that, you know, we have the relationship that we have. And I said, oh, and to, you know, hallmark this, here's a picture of you sucking Mickey Maud's dick that I took.
Do you ever hang out and watch and stuff, or like you just
usually I'm participating. I just, you know, I like her being happy.
Right.
So it's like whatever. I think when we did the Sex Panther party for AVN this year, we were both like back and forth doing stuff with other people, doing stuff with each other. Like we were just being slutty all over the room. I mean, we are hosts. We're real big sluts.
Okay. So do you guys have to get tested really often because of the blood stuff? If you're with other people?
Yeah. So we get tested. I mean, every new partner we get tested. Every time we work, we get tested. We periodically get tested once a month. So, I mean, like, then that's just to be. And then I have some friends here I'm trying to set up. I am going to be championing a health event for the city for free testing for college students, sex workers, and the LGBTQ community once a month at a local LGBTQ bar.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to be hosting that here in Reno once a month, every single month, encouraging people to come out and get a free full panel test.
Right.
You know, to know what their status is with their sexual health.
So you're the first person that I've really talked to that instead of like using the word dominant and submissive, you say sadist and masochist. Is that because you're more like super extreme and it is a lot for you, not just about power play, but about the sensation of pain?
Yeah, I mean, because you can be dominant and not be a sadist. I mean, it doesn't have to involve pain. There's other ways to be dominant over a person. In this scenario, you know, it usually when it comes to playing with me, there is going to be some kind of pain involved. So yeah, I do use. I'm predominantly more a sadist. I hate the term dom. I don't use it. I will refer to myself as dominant, but. The short version of that just is kind of grammatically annoying to me, I think, because people are like, oh, I want you to dom me. I am like, no, I will top you. But the whole I want you to dom me thing, I think that's kind of like birthed from 50 Shades of Grey culture. Which,
right. It might be sexier if somebody said, I would like to submit to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. That's much better. A lot of people in the kink community, the term dominant and submissive, they have a lot of deeper meanings. So for like a one-time scenario, I don't want to be your dominant. I'll top you for that session, or you can bottom for me for that session. You know, to totally submit to me, I think requires like a deeper level of connection.
Yeah. So if I'm pretty new into kink stuff and this is me like talking to people and exploring, that means you probably would not want to top me.
Yeah, more often.
Even though I'm adorable and fun.
Yeah, no. If you want to have some vanilla sex, or maybe we can run down a couple of things I will do with somebody, I'm down to negotiate those things.
I will be twittering your penis later.
It's covered in tattoos. Hard to miss.
How large is it?
It's average.
Okay.
That's not my selling point, I think, in this industry. My dick isn't. Although it's pretty. It's a pretty dick.
Okay. And you obviously use it well.
I do all right.
When did you get your penis tattooed?
3 or 4 months ago.
Oh,
and then
wow.
again. Yeah, 3 or 4 months ago, and then again like a month ago.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What's the healing process like?
It's like a week and a half, maybe. It heals itself pretty quickly.
You know how like when you get tattoos and it like gets that like filmy skin that like blisters and comes off?
Oh yeah.
That happened on your penis?
Yeah.
Was that like gross and terrifying?
No, because it was just like, wash it with soap and water, and it flaked off in like a day.
Ugh. And then what did you decide to get tattooed on your dick?
I have a Grim Reaper on the top of my dick, and then barbed wire around underneath the tip of my penis.
Okay, so you
can go look at it right now. It's if you go to my media tab.
Oh wait, I found it. Oh my goodness. Wow. They did a really good job.
There's a picture somewhere on there of me having sex with Sid where it kind of like her butt like really frames my penis tattoo very well.
Yeah.
And it's inside of her.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, you have a really nice looking dick. You're right. Okay, I'm going to stop looking at it. We'll go back to the. I told you.
I grew it myself, so.
You grew it yourself?
I tried really hard.
You mentioned way earlier in our chat about your breath play earlier.
Yeah, so
What's your deal, man?
There's a very nerdy misconception about people like to choke from the esophagus, like while they're having sex. They just put their hand on the front of the neck and they're like, "Yeah, let me crush your larynx while I'm fucking you."
I just put my hand there and it does hurt.
And to correct myself, everybody says that breath play, like choking during sex, but really the choke is a blood choke. Like the most pleasurable and incapacitating safe choke you can do is pinching off the carotid arteries, removing the blood flow to the head. So you get that like nice little dizzy, whoa, that rush feeling,
Okay, so it's not really in the middle of the throat, but more on the sides?
Yeah. Yeah, it has nothing to do with your airways. Airway chokes are deadly. Like, you don't do those. Breath play,
that's why people accidentally die.
Yes, correct. But, like breath play for me with Sydney, like covering the mouth and nose, some waterboarding, stuff like that.
You can't say waterboarding and then say stuff like that.
Stuff like...
you need to tell me what waterboarding is like.
And I won't get into describing the exact fundamentals of how that all works because I don't want to be responsible for anybody not doing it the correct way.
Oh, man.
But yeah, some of like my favorite things to do will be to, cover the mouth and nose for a short period of time and then create a sense of panic and then let off and then go back. And those are always fun games to play with people that are consenting and into that type of play while you're having sex.
Right. And then you said you're into extreme edge play. That just means like taking things like as far as you possibly can?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. And that's like you can't go much further than your blood play, can you?
I mean, yes. I mean, Sydney and I do a lot of, a lot of her fantasies and mine are around CNC, so consensual non-consent.
What does that really mean?
Consenting to be treated as though they had not consented.
So is it like pretend, or they're really going past what they would normally do?
It for the most part, it's a pretend because again, the submissive, the person at on the bottom always has the ability to call the scene whenever.
Right, but if you're submissive, so if you're the owner, what is she?
She's owned by me.
Okay, so if the owned wants to make you the happiest possible, they would probably push themselves as far as they possibly could, right?
Yeah. I mean, of course, the goal is to always, if being that far out there is where you want to go with it, that's always going to be the goal to attain. But, safety and sanity are the two biggest things that you have to take into account and make sure the aftercare is involved and things like that.
What's your favorite kind of aftercare?
My favorite kind of aftercare is the kind that the people that bottom for me walk away from feeling like they had a good scene. So it's not so much what's my favorite kind of aftercare, it's what is the person that I'm playing with, what's their favorite kind of aftercare. I just like cuddling and watching movies. I'm very into being a caretaker. So anytime where I can provide, reassurance and comfort, I like that outside of the sadist thing.
How does it make you feel to like technically own a person? What does that do for you think?
There's a lot of responsibility, and it's something you really can't take for granted, because at the end of the day, like sometimes, I'll be like, Sydney, what do you want for dinner tonight? And she'll be like, I don't know. And, you get frustrated and you're like, what do you mean? You just said you were starving. And she's like, oh, well, I'm just not going to eat. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I'm responsible for this person right now. So part of that means that if she doesn't know what she wants to eat and she's not going to eat, I'm going to tell her what she's eating. And so it's very fulfilling to like know that since Sydney and I met, our lives have improved probably tenfold, and we're in such better places, not only, financially or with our own security or in a relationship, but mentally and individually. At the end of the day, I think it's just such a gratifying dynamic, and to own somebody and know that they're thriving and prospering with you helping them and pushing them to make all of the right choices, like having good support system and things like that, being a good support system.
Okay. This is what my notes say. Have you always not given a shit? You really put it out there.
I put it out there.
That's like literally what my notes say.
I love that. I'm
like, maybe he does give a shit. I just assuming that he doesn't give a shit.
I give lots of shits, okay? I don't really give a shit about what people think about me or what my stance is on things. So I want to live my life the way that I want to live it. And if you don't like it, then you can fuck right off.
Right. How's your family deal with that?
My stepdad and I have an awesome relationship. My mom and I are like frenemies. So I love her dearly. She loves me as well, but she hates my appearance and doesn't want to know about.
Cute.
She thinks I'm gorgeous,
but
sans the tattoos.
Right.
She won't even introduce me to people anymore.
Oh.
We'll like go somewhere and she'll see somebody she knows and she's like, they're like, wait, is this Levi? And she was like, oh yeah, he looks really different now,
She's like apologizing for you.
Yeah, she apologizes for my appearance.
And your stepdad is like, you're cool as shit, bro.
Yeah, we get tattooed together. He's awesome.
Do you have any like fun stories of like
oh my God.
Yeah, I want a story. Please.
But that's like my life has been fun stories. I mean, I've done a lot of stupid shit. So it's like, in what category of fun story do you want to hear? Because
I was thinking
my life is like a running joke.
I was thinking like a crazy sex scene that you've gotten to do that you loved. But if you have something that's just hilarious that you wanted to share, that sounds fun too. I mean,
I love all the scenes that we've done. Lydia Black flattered me pretty hard a couple months back on Twitter. Somebody asked her like what her favorite scene she's ever done was. And we did a live scene that was like a squirt, torture, electro scene. And so I like gagged her and blindfolded her, and I had a cattle prod and was just like electrocuting her and doing some Hitachi torture. And then
Hitachi's
it turned into like
stick?
Hitachi is the vibrating wand.
Okay. I never remember that.
Doing some Hitachi torture, and then it switched to like some digital penetration with my fingers, and then she started squirting, and then I electrocuted the puddles of squirt on the mat, and they actually ran through her body. And so she said that was one of her favorite scenes she did. And honestly, it was like really flattering for me because she's done some really cool fucking shit, like great scenes. And so I was like, oh, that's amazing. My favorite scene I've ever done, though, I will have to say, was 2 years ago, the AVN pre-party that we did in Las Vegas. I mean, everybody was there. Tommy Pistol, Lay Raven, like there's a who's who of people in the industry.
You know that I know zero names of people that you're saying.
I figured that maybe
my fans might.
Fans do.
Yeah, hopefully my listeners do. I'm just letting you know.
So anybody you've ever touched yourself to is probably in this room. Like
Owen Gray. That's like the only guy I know.
Actually, I think Owen did come through there.
And then because Rocky Emerson told me about Owen Gray. And then I was like, okay, I have to look him up because she got to have sex with him.
I have a really funny Rocky Emerson story I'll actually tell after this real quick. So we did this scene, AVM pre-party. There's probably 200 people in this room. We pierced Sid's face, her eyebrows, the crown of her skull. And
wait, you're Sid?
Yep.
You pierced the crown of her head?
Yeah.
Okay. Does she still have it?
No. We just pierced through it so it would bleed out.
Oh, God. Okay. So
she's like face covered in blood in this tiny little schoolgirl outfit, and I'm in a ski mask and a butcher's apron. And then Luzia Lowe, who is a wonderful, wonderful Dami, they took part in the scene with us, and they fucked Sid with a strap on while I hit her with like a 40-pound chain and padlock, and people were just mouths agape, like what
mine
the fuck?
Is right now.
Like, well, yeah.
And I can't. I've not even seen it.
When there's a couple video clips of it, I think way back in my Twitter media tab. I mean, we did vampire gloves. Her ass was just gushing blood on her face, and when the scene was over, so many people came up to us, and that got us a lot of really positive responses from some people that we really looked up to. So it was that's one of my favorite memories I have so far.
So that was probably like a huge career booster for you.
Yeah, we made a lot of connections off of that.
Okay, so after something this intense happens to Sid, maybe I should have a conversation with Sid soon.
You should.
How long does it take her to heal?
I mean, we hit her with, we used a surgical stapler on the backs of her thighs for that. So we gave her like seams going up the back of her calves to her thighs with surgical staples in that scene. It took her, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks to heal.
Okay, because after that happens, like, you probably don't want to get hit again, like, the next day.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Right, because then you're just in pain already before you get hit. You're still, like, hurting.
Yeah.
Okay, and how hard is it for you to hit somebody with a 40-pound chain?
Not that hard.
Like, you don't feel bad about it, and...
No, I mean, I think everybody's kind of like in their own little headspace. Like when I'm in that mode, that's not what's on my mind. Obviously, there are things that I put in place like check-ins and making sure everything's okay, so I can stay in control. And if the scene needs to be called, because I know Sydney won't use her safe word in a scene like that. But if her body's not responding a way that I think is healthy or that's going to maybe promote long-term damage, I'm going to call the scene and say, hey, this is enough. I know you could do more, but I think that we need to cut it here.
Okay. So do you think you're like have a different person inside you when you go there?
I wouldn't say it's like a different person inside me. Those things are always underlying. It's just an outlet for me to let that part of me take the reins,
Okay. And after like, because I know for the bottom, they feel like kind of euphoric after it's all over.
Yeah.
It's like such a release. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely like when you're done playing like that, man, you really do feel that like endorphin rush. Your serotonin levels are high, but I mean,
you
with
let
that
yourself go to that place and kind of like let those emotions and things like release just in a different way than the person that is getting pain does.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Jesus. So interesting. Okay. You said you had another story that you were going to tell me.
Oh, just a quick Rocky Emerson story since she was on the podcast already. We went to Folsom Street Fair in San Francisco together this year, and we all went to kink.com's upper floor party, which is like an event. They invite a bunch of kinky people and industry people, and you party, and there's live sex and people playing, then they film it. It's on their website. If you have a kink.com membership, you can actually go look at the upper floor party, and we are all on it. I think the last episode that they released for that segment. And we go, and Rocky was in these big, tall high heels, and I don't know how much you know about her, but she's like 6'3". And so her in 6-7 inch heels, she's like 6'8". We go, and she's complaining that her shoes hurt, and I'm like, you better not take, it's a nice party. It's like semi-formal. I'm like, you better keep your shoes on. I don't want to see you walking around with your shoes off. Halfway through the party, she comes back, and she's wearing these ugly, ripped up, tattered, disgusting Tom's shoes. And I'm like, what the fuck are those, Rocky? And she's like, my feet hurt. I had to change my shoes. And I was like, really? And I was like, what did I tell you not to do? And she was like, I know. And so we were going to do a spanking scene. And so for the entire segment of that spanking scene, which was like 25, 30 minutes, I made her put that shoe in her mouth and hold it there while I spanked her for like 30 minutes straight.
The gross Tom shoe or the shoes that
yeah, the gross Tom. Yeah. So every time now I see her and I'm like, she's wearing those Toms, I'm like, I should make you put those in your mouth right now. They are disgusting.
I know, my Toms get so gross.
Yeah, they were like smelly and bad. And I'm like, why would you wear these? Why would you bring these here?
Right. Oh, man, that's funny. So I like to ask all my guests about a bucket list sexual thing that they haven't gotten to do. Are there things you haven't got to do yet?
There's one, and it's really sadistic and gross. And I actually posted about it on Instagram, I think on my story the other day. Sydney and I made a pact together that she wanted a gold tooth. A real gold tooth. And
you want to knock her tooth out?
I want to rip her tooth out with pliers, and I want to face fuck her with a mouthful of blood.
Wow, that's intense.
And as reward for that, I will buy her a gold tooth to go in the empty hole where the tooth used to be.
Holy fuck. I think you should have a golden tooth with a little diamond in it.
Yeah, for sure. It would be a very extravagant gold tooth because she earned it.
Holy shit. What tooth does she want to have?
A canine.
Okay, like a vampire tooth.
Yeah.
I don't really have much to say. But you're going to pull it out all the way from the root, so she's like bleeding everywhere, and then maybe she'll just be like numb enough probably from the pain. Does she get any? Can she put cocaine on her on her lips before? Not even anything.
Nope.
What about like some like a Vicodin?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Don't say no to me like that. It's scary.
You say it's scary, but you look very turned on right now when you say that.
I am. And she wants this too.
Yes.
Like she kind of wants it and she's still thinking about it, or like, she like wants it. She's just not ready for it. Like,
I know that she wants it. It's just got to be like it's a pretty big thing.
Yeah, I wonder if that's worse than childbirth.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think anything could be.
Because, like, maybe she should take some, like, childbirthing classes.
Her subspace is deep. Like, I think what would have to happen was she would have to be in subspace before it happened. So, like, we would probably have to play for a little bit before I did it.
Yeah.
But her subspace is really deep. She is in the middle of getting a full back piece right now, and like she literally fell asleep getting her back tattooed. So, and I have my back tattooed, and let me tell you, it's fucking miserable. Like it is one of those things where I'm like, stop doing this to me right now. I'm so irritated. And she's just like, I'm going to sleep through it.
So your whole body's tattooed, but your face really, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And so you guys made a pact that this is going to happen. Maybe you should wait till you're married.
Well, then she's got like 3 months.
Well, I didn't say you have to do it the day you get married.
That would be interesting, though. That'd be a really cool way to break our ceremony.
Oh, my God. And in the white dress with all the blood everywhere?
Yeah. I would
Do you
love
think
it.
she's going to wear a white dress?
Oh, yeah. I know she's going to wear a white dress. We're having a very traditional wedding.
Oh, my God. I love this. Okay. So I think that maybe even if you don't do it on your wedding day, maybe she should wear a white dress during the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that idea.
Thank you.
I'm stealing it.
Once
It's
I
been
start
stolen.
thinking, I come up with some good stuff.
We're going to be doing one-of-a-kind custom content. I just ordered a camcorder that records straight to a VHS cassette. And I'm going to be posting that basically you can see us do the hardest of the hard stuff on a one-of-a-kind VHS that I will mail to you in a brown padded envelope. So that's going to be a thing that you'll see coming up from us soon. Just one-of-a-kind custom VHS pornography.
Because then you know, like, it can't be copied or recreated. Like, that's yours.
Yeah. It's not going to circulate on the internet. Very, 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 like, dark fetish content, so.
Right. Is there anything darker that you haven't told me yet? Like, is there
I've given you, like, the outline without going too far into detail, because I think once you go into there, it's just, like, there would be a lot of trigger warnings around me talking.
I might not be able to sleep tonight, and bedtime isn't for, like, another, like, 6 hours. Well, I'm happy that you found, like, the perfect partner.
Yeah, we kind of never really understand. People have taken, like, a really cool interest in us, especially as a couple. And we like to think that we're like porn for people that do porn.
Yeah, y'all are something else.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I just hope that
you're pretty great yourself.
Oh, thank you. I hope I can find my partner that's just right for me someday.
I hope that for everybody. I definitely feel like I got extremely lucky. So
yes, I mean, I think you got insanely lucky.
Yeah. So I'm not going to take it for granted. That's for damn sure.
Right. Well, I hope you have a beautiful wedding.
Hey, thank you.
And that it's like super memorable and amazing. And if you could just send me a personal message when you pull her tooth out, like, I don't think I want to see a picture. I just want to know what happened.
Okay, for sure.
Like, message me.
I mean, you follow me on Instagram, so I'm sure I'll post something related to it.
Yeah.
And then now you're going to follow me on Twitter, so there will probably be a video clip of it.
I followed you, but I probably still won't look at Twitter. I just, like, don't, but I'll try.
You should. It's better.
Okay, I'll think about it. And there was one other thing I was going to say. Vanilla-ish sex with me is an option.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'll spit on you and choke you and slap you a little bit if those are things you're into.
I could handle those things. I don't think I could handle that glove.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Those aren't. I don't bring those just to every bedroom, you know.
Right, and then you do travel too, right? You travel and do shows. Yeah.
You can book us. You can just send me a DM if you want to book us, or Sydney has her booking email in her bio on Twitter. I need to do that because I'm a lazy piece of shit.
Okay, well, tell my people her Twitter as well.
It is twitter.com/babysid69.
BABYSID 69. And then what is yours one more time?
Twitter.com/Hell4Slootz, HELL4SL00TZ.
cool.
And you can see my tattooed wiener. And
I recommend seeing his wiener.
touching me eating butts and
Oh, you're a butt eater?
Oh, dear God.
Do you like your butt eaten?
Fuck yes. Like, I'm a butt guy. All things butt, all the time.
Okay.
Which is, again, Sydney only really comes when she's having anal, so.
Gosh, you really disconnect.
Hit it out of the park.
Seriously.
So if you want to see my wiener and her butthole, go to Twitter.
Amazing. Okay. Thank you so much for talking so openly, and I hope you had fun talking to me. And yeah, good luck.
Hey.
I just really can't wait to see pictures of your wedding. I'm sure, y'all are both gorgeous people, and I'm sure it's going to be such a beautiful experience.
Hey, thank you so much.
Yeah, and okay, well, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll keep in touch and talk soon.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, bye.
Bye.
What the fuck just happened? That was amazing. It was really intense, but I think I also accidentally got turned on, but don't tell anybody. Also, I feel like vanilla sex would still be kind of super intense. He's like, I can be more vanilla with you, but I'll still spit on you. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Feel free to let me know what you think. Instagram at Interesting Sex Podcast or InterestingSexPodcast.com. You guys are awesome. I appreciate your support. Let's take a quick second to be appreciative of the fact that we get to have sex with who and how we want. And let's put out our love and support to those who don't. There's nothing worse than a child getting sex trafficked. So any proceeds that come into Interesting Sex Podcast, 10% will go to help stop sex and human trafficking. Thank you guys so much. I can't wait to see you next Tuesday to find out what the pussy drags in. Thank you to the band 41 for this super fun song that drives me crazy and wild all at the same time.